LifeLooper.com present. The 10,000 Things You Must Know series. Visual Arts category. 100 Great Artists Part 1, from 1 to 50. Here we have anything that people perceive exclusively or mainly through sight, so it encompasses movies, TV shows, paintings, sculptures, and buildings. Moreover, it's not only the works themselves, but also the people who created them, artists, photographers, directors, and actors. Find out the techniques that made Caravaggio and others great painters, which ancient Roman architect influenced the design of the White House. What Hitchcockian skill Steven Spielberg employed to make Jaws scary, which was the last movie Walt Disney produced, and just how Citizen Kane rewrote the rules of filmmaking. Number 1. DUCCIO di Buoninsegna. When the main aim of art was to express strong religious beliefs rather than realism, DUCCIO began to incorporate more expressive elements into his paintings, inspired by the sculpture of Pisano. He became one of the greatest Italian painters of the medieval period, and the founder of the Sienese school of painting. Number 2. GIOTTO di Bondone. Mainly active in Florence, Giotto initiated a new phase in Italian painting, which led to many of the creative ideas of the Renaissance. At a time when religious subjects and styles had been laid down by centuries of tradition, he began to depict human emotion, tonal gradations, and convincing architectural spaces. Number 3. Donatello. The greatest sculptor of the early Renaissance, Donatello was highly skilled in wood, bronze, stone, and clay. He traveled from Florence to Rome to study antique remains and developed a groundbreaking style that produced extremely lifelike work. Number 4. Jan van Eyck. A pioneer of the new technique of oil painting, Van Eyck produced clear and detailed paintings that included meticulously depicted surface effects and impressions of natural light. His closely observed images of religious stories and portraits were rendered in the jewel-bright colors that were attainable with oil paint. And his richly executed works reflect the prosperity of the cities of Northern Europe at that time. After establishing his reputation early in his career, he worked at the court of Philip the Good, Duke of Burgundy, from 1425 until the end of his life. Number 5. Paolo Uccello. Paolo di Dano, known as Uccello, combined the international Gothic style with a love of decorative effects and an obsession with linear perspective. His best-known work is the Battle of San Romano, c. 1438–40. Number 6. Rogier van der Weyden. The most influential Northern European artist of his time, van der Weyden acquired wealth and international acclaim through civic commissions. His detailed, naturalistic paintings that expressed human emotion were particularly admired. Number 7. Fra Angelico. The Dominican friar was known as Fra Giovanni but nicknamed Blessed Angelico for his delicate illuminated manuscripts. As a painter, he invented several trends of the early Renaissance, including modeling through tonal contrast, serene compositions, and clear colors. Posthumously, he was called Pictor Angelicus. Number 8. Tommaso Masaccio. Following many of Giotto's ideas, and the advances made in realism by his friend Donatello, Masaccio was the most revolutionary painter of the early Renaissance. Relinquishing the accepted Gothic style and elaborate adornment, he painted figures that appear three-dimensional and solid. In addition, his accurate application of perspective created powerful impressions of depth and distance. Number 9. Piero della Francesca. A mathematical theorist and artist, Della Francesca created geometrically inspired compositions, expressed through a cool palette. His paintings are calm and serene, with a skillful use of perspective. Number 10. Giovanni Bellini. Through his rich coloring, fluent contours, fresh realism, and portrayal of subtle emotions, Bellini inspired a period of creativity in Venice and beyond. Number 11. Andrea Mantegna. With his elegant lines and proficient use of perspective, he was the most influential painter in northern Italy for almost 20 years. Number 12. Sandro Botticelli. At the height of his career, Botticelli was one of the most acclaimed painters in Florence, where he earned the patronage of the Pope and several leading Florentine families, including the Medicis. His graceful contours, symbolism, and subtle spirituality combined the decorative international Gothic style with the emotion of humanism and subtle spatial illusions. However, Botticelli's work was overshadowed by a new style of painting, and by the time of his death, his style was no longer popular. Number 13. Domenico Ghirlandaio. Acclaimed for his meticulous narrative frescoes and portraits of dignitaries, Ghirlandaio paid particular attention to detail. Number 14. Hieronymus Bosch. This Northern European painter had a complex, individual style, and his detailed paintings reveal insights into the depths of the human mind. Number 15. Leonardo da Vinci. A polymath, epitomizing the Renaissance humanist ideal, Leonardo was a painter, sculptor, architect, engineer, scientist, and inventor. With the use of sfumato, his paintings showed greater realism than had been seen before, and his notebooks, written in mirror writing, revealed a mechanical inventiveness that was centuries ahead of its time. The Last Supper, 1495–98, and Mona Lisa c. 1503, are among the most influential paintings of the Renaissance. Number 16. Albrecht Dürer. Painter, printmaker, draftsman, mathematician, and art theorist, Dürer is seen as the greatest German Renaissance artist. His vast body of work includes altarpieces and other religious works, landscapes, portraits, and self-portraits, as well as copper engravings and woodcuts. He revolutionized printmaking and drawing and established his reputation across Europe. One of his greatest paintings is Four Apostles, created at the end of his career. Number 17. Michelangelo. With unparalleled skills as a sculptor, painter, architect, poet, and engineer, Michelangelo was supremely influential in the development of Western art. And he remains one of the greatest artists of all time. His versatility and understanding of such a broad range of disciplines have led to him being regarded as the archetypal Renaissance man, alongside Leonardo da Vinci. His output in every field was monumental. Number 18. Matthias Grunwald. This artist produced profoundly expressive and intensely colored religious paintings that ignored Renaissance classicism and emphasized the intensity of human emotion. His masterwork is considered to be the Wings of the Isenheim altarpiece, commissioned for the high altar of the Church of the Monastery of St. Anthony, painted in 1512–15. Number 19. Raphael. Italian painter and architect Raphael is known for his clarity of form and harmonious compositions, as well as the idealism, grace, serenity, and beauty of his figures and portraits. He is recognized, along with Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci, as one of the great masters of the High Renaissance. He ran an unusually large workshop and, despite his death at a young age, left a large body of work. His style set a precedent for Western art for more than 400 years. Number 20. Titian. The greatest Venetian painter of the 16th century, and the first to be sought after internationally. Titian experimented with many different styles of painting and became known for his remarkable use of color and dynamism. Number 21. Hans Holbein the Younger. This German artist is known for the precise rendering and compelling realism of his court portraits. Number 22. I.L. Bronzino. Bronzino's detached realism and bold palette influenced styles of portraiture for a century after his death. Number 23. Tintoretto. Tintoretto's style of painting is characterized by the artist's daring inventiveness and his handling of dramatic lighting and gestures. Number 24. Peter Bruegel the Elder. This inventive Flemish painter and printmaker descended from a family of artists. He created sympathetic images of peasants and landscapes. Number 25. Paolo Veronese. Based in Venice and well known for large-scale paintings of both religious and mythological subjects, Veronese was a supreme colorist with an ability to incorporate many figures in his compositions. Number 26, El Greco. Painter, sculptor, and architect of the Spanish Renaissance, El Greco employed an elongated painting style and is seen as a precursor of both Expressionism and Cubism. Number 27, Caravaggio. One of the most revolutionary figures of European art, Caravaggio painted ordinary people and did not idealize them, thereby disregarding the conventions of Renaissance art. With his dramatic compositions and use of strong chiaroscuro, which became known as tenebrism, he was hugely influential. Number 28, Peter Paul Rubens. Widely recognized as the supreme Baroque painter of Northern Europe, Rubens fused the realistic tradition of Flemish painting with the imaginative freedom and classical themes of Italian Renaissance art. Constantly in demand, his large workshop produced a vast number of inventive paintings. He was also an important diplomat in European politics. Number 29, Artemisia Gentileschi. In an era that was difficult for female artists, Italian Baroque painter Gentileschi created dramatic pictures in strong chiaroscuro. She mainly depicted powerful female figures from myth and the Bible. Number 30, Nicolas Poussin. Inspired by classical Rome, French artist Poussin painted scenes from mythology, ancient history, and the Bible, capturing figures frozen in motion against bucolic landscapes, each carefully calculated and based on geometric forms. Number 31, Gian Lorenzo Bernini. Perhaps the greatest sculptor of the 17th century and an outstanding architect, Bernini was a crucial influence on the Italian Baroque. He created sculptures caught in dynamic, transient moments and full of emotional energy. Number 32, Diego Velázquez. The most important painter of the Spanish Baroque, Velázquez produced many works of historical and cultural significance, including some of the greatest portraits of the Spanish Golden Age. His masterful technique and original, natural methods broke away from tradition and subsequently became hugely influential to many artists, including notably Goya, Manet, and Picasso. Number 33, Anthony van Dyck. After Rubens, Van Dyck was the most important Flemish painter of the 17th century, particularly skilled with authoritative portraits. Number 34, Claude Lorraine. Infusing his landscapes with ethereal light, Lorraine depicted mythological and biblical stories. Number 35, Rembrandt van Rijn. Exceptional painter, draftsman, and etcher, Rembrandt produced paintings characterized by abundant, spontaneous brushwork, warm coloring, and powerful chiaroscuro. His many portraits and self-portraits display his profound perception of character and rendering of light and texture. A master of shadow, he is known for etchings and narrative paintings that humanize biblical and mythical stories, creating intimate, empathetic, and compelling images. Generally considered one of the greatest painters in European art, and the most important in Dutch history, he is often called one of the great prophets of civilization. Number 36, Pieter de Hooch. Known for his genre scenes of domestic situations, de Hooch depicted cleverly lit views of rooms or yards seen through open doors or windows, often with moral messages. Number 37, Johannes Vermeer. Moderately successful during his lifetime, Vermeer painted domestic interior scenes of contemporary middle-class life. His work has since established him as one of the greatest painters of the Dutch Golden Age. Number 38, Antoine Watteau. This French Rococo artist's fates galantes are dreamlike, idealized scenes of elegant gentlemen and ladies in the outdoors. Number 39, William Hogarth. An articulate painter and engraver of portraits, as well as of historic and contemporary narratives. Hogarth is best known for his series of satirical paintings that were described as modern moral subjects. Number 40, Canaletto. For about 20 years, Canaletto's picturesque views of Venice and other cities were extremely sought after for their clear light and precise perspective. Number 41. Jean-Simeon Chardin. One of the greatest masters of still life and domestic activities, Chardin produced balanced, intimate compositions enhanced by soft light. Number 42. François Boucher. Recognized for his charming, ebullient, classical style, Boucher was the favorite artist of Madame de Pompadour, Louis XV's mistress. Number 43. Jean-Honoré Fragonard. This French painter and printmaker is best known for his delicately colored, vivacious, and playful artistic style, which exemplified the wantonness and excesses of the Rococo period. Number 44. Francisco de Goya. Principal painter for Charles IV of Spain, Goya was the most compelling and original artist of his time, profoundly gifted as a draftsman, printmaker, and painter. His work became increasingly pessimistic. Number 45. Jacques-Louis David. Perfecting the new neoclassicism, David influenced generations of artists after him. His academic style of history painting prompted a change in creativity, from the more frivolous Rococo style toward a cool, restrained classicism that was more suited to general feelings during the period of the French Revolution. Number 46. Kitagawa Utamaro. One of the most esteemed artists of ukiyo-e woodblock prints, Utamaro's portraits and nature studies were a particular influence on the Impressionists. Number 47. Antonio Canova. This neoclassical sculptor from the Republic of Venice was famed for his refined marble sculptures that rendered delicate nude flesh. Number 48. William Blake. A poet, painter, and printmaker, Blake created visionary imagery that was hugely important to Romanticism. Number 49. Katsushika Hokusai. A leading ukiyo-e artist of the Edo period, Hokusai helped to alter the path of European art and was inspired by European elements, too. His images feature rich colors and asymmetrical compositions. Number 50. Caspar David Friedrich. Using delicate brushstrokes, eerie settings, and a masterful rendering of mysterious light, Friedrich created ethereal visions of German landscapes.